Hello and welcome to Solution Cone.
In this video, we will study about form validations in Codeigniter, how to do a server-side validation on a form, what all libraries and helpers do we require to do that form validation on the server side. By the way, this validation is going to be on the server side as we will write something in Codeigniter, and it is not on the browser, so it is not a client-side validation. So always make a habit whenever we are using a form, always have a server-side validation because it increases the security, and basically client side can be bypassed sometimes easily. So it is must that for every form we make, we should have some server-side validation. So here is a documentation. We will look in a bit about it. So first of all, I'll show you what I had made. So it's a simple form, nothing much, just like 3-4 fields, like 4 fields currently: email ID, name, age, and password, and then a submit button. So when I'm submitting it, the form is getting submitted to the same URL, right? So let's go to the code and see what I have done. So for this form, basically we will do the form validation, and we will display the errors on the top and see how to do it. It's very simple, trust me guys. Let's just follow the video and you would learn it. So basically I have a controller and I have just loaded a view called forms. In the form I have my view of this form which is displayed here. So here is a form and the action is on the same page. The method is post and the email ID. So every field has a name attribute. This is very important because we are going to validate based on the name. So these are the 4 fields where the names are password, age, name, and email. Okay, and there is a button called as type submit, and it is just submitting the form. So here, when the form is submitted, after submitting we have to do the validation here. Okay, and after the validation is done, then only we'll show him the success page or whatever page we want to show him. Okay, so here basically we have to start with the validation part. So validation is very simple. You can just go to this Codeigniter website. You will just check the overview of it. Just go down. So here's a form which we have already made. Here's the success page and the controller. So for the controller part, what we can do is we can just load this library. Basically I will just copy this and I'll explain you in a bit what to do and how to do it. Okay, so we have just copy pasted the basic structure of validation where we have loaded the library called form validation library. This library has all the set of rules which we can apply on the fields for the validation purpose. So here we have a run method inside this library which will return false if there is some validation error, and if there is no error it will return true. So in that case you can just divert it from the success page, or for now what I'll do is, if the validation is true, I'll just echo validation true. You can proceed. That's it. Okay, and if there is an error we will show them in the error form. Now let me reload the page. Unexpected syntax error. Where exactly it is asking? Here. So here is my form which is loaded properly. Yeah, and here is the validation all set just the one thing we have to set is the rules for validation. Now, based on the fields, I can see that there is an email field. So email field should have a valid email ID. It is required. These are the two things we can apply on this. Name, it should not be empty. It is required, and it is non-numeric because name is not numeric. It is numeric, but it is required. Password is also required, and it can be alphanumeric, whatever you want. So we'll just do a required check here, and we can put a max length also for this. Okay, so for that, basically what we will do is we will go to the rule reference right here. So these are the rules which are available for the form validation. So we are going to take advantage of this, and we are going to use all of like maximum rules from here, and we can try to validate our form very easily. Now for validating a form, see this. Now for validating a form, what we are going to use is there is a method called set rules. We'll just copy this and we'll just paste it here. So in that set rule, the first, second and third parameter. So there are three parameters we need to pass. The first parameter is nothing but the form name, field name. I'm sorry, that is not a form name, that is a field name. So here the field name is email. So it will validate the element with the name of email. And what should we call if there is an error? Email ID. And what all validations or rules we want to apply, we can take it from here. Reference rule. So the first thing is required. I will just copy required and I will paste it here. And the second thing, with the pipe symbol, what I can do is for the email IDs, we have a rule called valid email. So I'll just pass it as a valid email. So the validation is done for email ID. Isn't it simple? The second thing is for the name. So name also has a name attribute which responds to name. So I just put this name here, and I would like to call it name required, and it should be alpha only, alphabetical characters. So I'll just put an alpha. Okay, and if you want, we can put the max length also, but we'll put it later. And the third field is age, and I guess the name is also age. So what I'll do is I'll put here age, and I'll give it age required. Okay, and this should be numeric. So for numeric, we have numeric characters. Returns false if the element is other than integer. So we can also pass integer also. Let's pass it as an integer. So it is going to be an int. Similarly, we have a third value which is password. So what is the name of that field? Let's take it from the form.php. The name is password. We'll just copy the name. We'll make a rule for password. So password required. Yes, it is required. It can be alphanumeric. Okay, it can be alphanumeric. Only numbers and alphabets can be used. No special characters, nothing. And I would like to give it a max length. Okay, so For that, here I can see that maximum length. So here, this is the way we can pass max length and min length. So I will give it the max length of 10 characters, and I will also give the min length for the password to be of 6 characters. So the rules are set for me and everything is set. Now let's run the page. You would notice nothing much here. See this, there is nothing to be displayed. The reason is there are form validation errors, but we have not displayed those errors anywhere. So for that, basically we have a function to display it. So what I'll do is I'll just call that function validation underscore error. Now let's try to reload it. Okay, it is giving me an error, validation error. And let's check it here for validation underscore error method. So this is inside the form helpers. So for that we need to load a helper called form helper, which is nothing but the form helper. So here we can directly go for it now. Okay, so it is not errors, it is errors. The spelling mistake was there. So that is the reason why we were getting an error here. So for example, if I'm just submitting it right now, so yeah, you can see that it is giving us the errors. Email ID field is required, the name field is required, the age field is required, and the password field is required. If I'm typing something weird in the email IDs, it is going to give me that email ID must contain a valid email ID. Okay, but the way the errors are shown, I'm not happy with it. So let's customize it first. Here I can pass it's a bootstrap theme for the form, so I can load the bootstrap classes. I would like to have alert hyphen danger, and here I will just close this div. Now let's check. Yeah, better, it is looking better. So yes, so now it is looking better. Okay, so this is the way we can have it. Now let's do it like this. Email ID and everything I have filled, but I haven't filled the password and these two fields. So it is saying that the name may only contain alphabetical orders. So what was that? Yeah. Okay. Now if you will notice, the validation has been going on properly. Let's check it with the full proper validation proof. No spaces and nothing is allowed here currently. Age is 10 years and the password is something like this. Let's check the field. Okay, it is saying that the password field cannot exceed maximum of 10 characters. Now if you'll notice, all the other fields which were validated properly have been erased, so I have to fill it again and again. This is okay because this is a small form, but in case if I have a huge form, then it was um, very bad experience for the users. Firstly, I'll just try to pass this validation. Yeah, see, everything is proper, then only it will show that validation is true, you can proceed, because we have written it here that if the validation is true, we'll enter it here. So here, whatever code you want to write, if you want to redirect somewhere, you can redirect them, and if you want to add the data in the database, you can do that, because everything is clear now. All the validations, whatever you wanted, you have done, and everything is proper now. Now you can proceed with the further activities in this loop, else loop. Okay, so this is the form validation done. But one thing, if we notice here, that all the data were erased when the form was submitted and the error was there. So for that, we can do it like a value php echo set value. It is a method which we can use for setting the value. Let's try it for one, and then I will replicate it for all of them. Can you see this? This field is set. So the same thing we will copy for all the other form fields. And we will replace the name. So for password, we have a name password, so I'll write password here. For age, name, first name, and email is email. Already we have done that. Now if you will notice, all the things are set, and it is showing me the password is 10 characters. Now I have done it correctly, so it is going to proceed me. So it gives much more better user experience. Okay, in the next video we will see how to give errors to the individual fields. In this video we have learned about giving the errors on top of the form once for all, but in next video we will see about how to give errors below the fields, or like for example, if there is an error with email ID, so it will not go on the top somewhere, it will go with the email ID only. So in the next video guys, we will see about that. I hope this video was helpful. So if you like the video, please share the video and comment your doubts if you have any. Thank you for watching. Hope you like, subscribe, and comment below if you have any doubts. Don't forget to press the bell icon, as I'm going to release a continuous series on Codeigniter where we are going to manage, where we are going to build the live projects. So thank you guys. Bye bye.